Okay. Dear Heavenly Father, it's in your name that we come together to read our lesson for today in the Book of Living Spring. May you bless our hearts, our minds, and our soul to understand the message. Thank you. So be it. Okay. So let's share. Can you guys see that?
No.
Okay. So I wonder what happened to the
Do you see the window you're trying to share? There we go, on the great journey.
Okay, yeah, the great journey. So just to catch up a little bit, we did the intro, which talked about that God had dispersed spirits to come and let us know about to bring the word that we're not alone, and that everywhere around the world that the communication between the two worlds was active. So, and it makes sense because people did talk about hearing spirits, or they had this in their past, in their religious past, that there was always some form of communication with good spirits. And then we read about Jesus, who came to show humankind the road to true goodness. And also they talked about the Spirit book, and the Spirit book had information for us to learn about the laws, worship, labor, society, the progress of equality, justice, law of love and charity, and moral perfection, as well as hope and consolation. And then we had in lesson 1, remember to, let's see, what was it? To remember, okay. So this one was to let us know that we should open up our hearts as to get the true meaning of the inspired sentiments and also immerse ourselves in the light. And he also talked about the countless followers of the gospel and how they complained about their inability to understand the teachings. And it said for those who were not able to retain information, they needed to meditate on the lessons. And then the last one was that we did was the way to do it. And this one was about, the only said is only those inspired by Jesus helping us to conduct our lives so that we would learn about reparation, correcting our lives, and also to not be demanding payment for any good deeds that we did in terms of charity, and not to do it for show, and whenever you did something, to not do it with superiority and expecting something from someone, whomever would do anything for you. And here we are today on the journey, on the great journey. Okay, Mark.
On the great journey. By faith, Abraham, being called, obeyed and went to a place he would receive as an inheritance, even though he did not know where he was going. And that's from Paul in Hebrews 11:8. By faith, disciples of the gospel are called, like Abraham, to the sublime inheritance that is their destiny. This calling reaches everyone. The great Hebrew patriarch went without knowing where he was going. And we, in turn, should also lift up our hearts and go. We do not know the stops along the lengthy way, but we do know that our goal is Jesus Christ. How many times will we be constrained to walk on the thorn bushes of slander? How long will we tread the scabrous trail of incomprehension? How often will floods of tears smite our spirit? How many clouds will form between our thought and heaven on long stretches of the road?
Okay, Mark, hold on. So because I think it's good to try to go over a little bit at a time, because I kind of get lost and I'm thinking everybody else gets lost too. So any thoughts on this so far?
Obedience,
Obedient.
surrender.
To me, it's kind of also saying that if you are going through something hard, like a test maybe, there's a way to accept it. There's a way to embrace it and not take it as a punishment. That's what it seemed like to me that it was saying. Yeah.
Hi, Regina, I'm here.
Okay, hi there.
Valerie. Hi, I'm here at Sonia. Sorry about the mix-up. I
Oh, no worries.
totally agree that it is not about punishment. It is about our whatever lessons we need to learn and how we can learn them with dignity and with upliftment, instead of that it's a punishment and we've been bad. So I think that's very, very good what you were saying, Regina.
Thanks, Val.
Mhm.
Anybody else? Okay, Mark.
However, we must go always forward without discouragement on the internal pathway of our redemption. Today, it is a hard toil. Tomorrow, it is responsibility. After that, suffering, and finally, loneliness.
Oh my gosh. And here's this time of year where I think loneliness really stands out huge. And it could be a testament to anybody, especially, anybody who's got kids and they love their kids so much they don't like for them to branch out, or it could be someone who's grieving a loss, or, you name it.
First Christmas without a spouse. First Christmas without a father or mother.
And and I think too that Spiritism, I have to give a lot of credit to the understanding of life more so, and helping us understand that it's temporary. The flesh, and even though we realize we're not here for a long time because the body must pass, but to understand the road for that this journey that we're on, and that the people and that interact with us are could be testaments, and could be a trial. It could be, we might see it as suffering because we lose someone, or we might see suffering because we lost a job, or, but how are you responding to this? It could be, and a lot of times things happen to people, they're angry and pissed off, but they go through it anyway. And it turns out it was the best thing that ever could have happened. And I think that's the idea behind what we're supposed to be doing regardless, is to And I think spirituality is trying to teach us to calm down, to meditate, to take your time, to be patient, and to not get slanderous. Don't get violent and angry. Well, let me remove the word angry. We can get angry, but not disperse your anger among others, you know, because it's going to happen. We do get angry. And just things that happen. I mean, let's look at these people who are going through these severe earthquakes or the floods, you know, and they lose everything. Everything. And I mean, if that happens to us here that have been reading, how graceful will we be? You know, it could be a test. What we don't know. But with the knowledge that we have, it's our responsibility to use what we're learning to not get pissed off and angry at God and angry at our neighbor, because it's not their fault, you know, it's nature. And a lot of things that we have read refer to nature, learn nature. And if you think about nature, what happens in nature? Everything dies, everything is reborn, regrowth. I mean, it's just the beauty of nature. It was, what are this? Some of the animals or creatures eat each other, you know? I mean, we just about do that too, but we don't do it nicely. But anyway, so there's a lot that goes on that if we really do pay attention to nature, to try and understand our lives, because Jesus, in my opinion, was trying to educate us that there's more that's going on, and that not to take everything so internally to our heart, you know, and get angry at people because something happens or they damage your car or whatever. Anyway, anybody else?
Yes. Obedience is for me like the children. If we want to be a good obedient, we should come back to childhood. When we are like the children, you see the children, when their parents, father or mother, take them to get somewhere, they trust them. They don't ask, where are you going to take us? They follow them because they know them, they can trust them. And so is for us. We should know somebody and trust somebody or something or God or anything what we take in our meditation or in our soul, in spirit. And when we trust, then we can follow. Jesus says that if you do what I did, you can do everything. And so is that, because we trust that. Thank you.
Yeah, trust is a big deal. You're right. We have to trust.
And we should know that we trust. If I know the children don't go with a stranger, they should know somebody. We should know, we should be sure that it's the right person or is the right way that we are going. And that is what we get in our spirit, not with mind, with heart.
But see, that comes from the parent too, teaching the child what's right and what's wrong, and to not just go with any stranger. You're right.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
As a child, I remember when something would happen to me, my father would say to me, well, why are you punishing yourself? And I'd say, I'm not punishing myself. And I realized that every time that I have shut down or been very discouraged or stopped something that made me happy out of discouragement or anger, I indeed was doing the punishing, not God, not anyone else, but I was punishing me and closing my heart to what would make me happy. So there's no one to blame but myself to open my heart and to allow the goodness in.
Mhm. So the things that were going through your mind. Too,
Yes.
right? Yeah. Yeah, we sometimes do hold on to some of the things that go through our mind.
Right, and then blame myself and lack of forgiveness for myself. I forgive others more quickly than myself. So I
Mhm.
think that when it comes to the line about discouragement, it's it's a good thing to lift ourselves from, that it's something that should get behind you, because it's not of the light. It is really of putting oneself down.
Mhm.
Anyway, just a thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. I don't know where we were, Mark.
Well, I finished the last sentence.
Okay. Well, that might be is that the last one?
Well, what's next?
Mhm. Oh, here we go.
Nevertheless, it is necessary to press on without getting discouraged. If it is not possible to take 2 steps forward per day, let us advance a few inches at least.
Mm.
The vanguard of new horizons of understanding, goodness, spiritual illumination, and progress in virtue is open to us. Let us climb the steep mountain without resting, defeating deserts, overcoming difficulties, piercing fogs, breaking down barriers. Abraham obeyed without knowing where he was going and found the realization of his happiness.
Wow. You know, this is a journey, but you know what? It's almost like it's like having a job, or you're trying to get to a job, so you prepare yourself, by studying whatever it is you want, or going to school, going to college, and so no matter what, you don't let anything stop you from getting there. You don't let anything block you from forging forward towards your goal. And this is the same attitude we have to have towards purifying ourselves, changing. If I have to change overeating, I have to change not to drink too much or excessive drinking. I have to change, gossiping. I'd have to change behaviors. You have to work on them, and you have to be consistent, and you have to, like they say, it can become very difficult to learn how to be quiet all of a sudden, but you have to do it. And I think that's kind of like, you're like Valerie. Valerie's an opera singer. She has to always practice, and look at it's a lot of work. And acting, even actors, they have to go through so much just to maintain that profession. So I'm seeing it even as on a spiritual path. It takes a lot for us to be consistent and to do what we need to do.
It's about practice, isn't it?
It is.
Practicing on a daily basis and keeping our thoughts in a certain place, and it truly is.
There's in the musician sense, Valerie, there's the factor of humility, to never think that you have it mastered, such that you slack up. And then when the performance comes, it shows.
Well, exactly. Who was it? I think it was Rubinstein, the great pianist, said, if I don't practice for a day, I can tell.
Yeah.
If I don't practice for 3 days, my wife can tell. And if I don't practice for 4 days, the audience can tell. So,
Wow.
you know, it's just to be sharp and to be focused and be in the state of ready. You're absolutely right. Very true.
Wow.
You got to be on point.
Wow, that's true though, right? It's true in life.
Absolutely.
With everything we do, we have to practice.
Yep.
And,
Spirituality is a practice, isn't it? It really is.
you know, I think for me, it's a lot for me to try and read every day and try to get something new from what I'm reading
Mm-hmm.
and retain that.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
You know,
Yes.
some people can read and cross-read and bring all those references together. I'm not that good at that.
I like to digest. I like to take a paragraph and digest and work with it and repeat it. And so I'm kind of slow when it comes to books, you know, take it
Yeah.
in.
I know I am.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And for me is that here that we shouldn't stop. We should make forward, and we should feel every day we are different from yesterday, that we have learned something. We should grow up like a seed in the ground. If it's soft, then it will dry, and it's something wrong in the root. And when the root is good, it grows every day. And we should grow in the spirituality every day, and we should feeling that. And the feelingness is when we are really happy in our heart. We are feeling that we have found something new and we are going the right way. Thank you.
That's very beautiful, Mosam. Very beautiful to think that of every day as a new day and what can be learned and gleaned and worked with. That's a beautiful, beautiful thought. Thank you.
You know, but I also think that a lot of people in the Bible had, in the Old Testament, you know, dealing with Abraham, had a different way of obedience when it came to God. I mean, nothing to me, not one person's journey was easy. You know, they did a lot of walking, suffering, and, you know, they endured a lot. And I remember reading Paulo Coelho, I think is his name. Is that how you say his name? He had a story, I think it was called The Valkyries. And it was about these women who were riding a bike. And she said she was a banker. And she said one day, Michael, the archangel, came to her and told her she had to leave and she needed to go to the desert. Well, and she left everything and she went to the desert, and she's like had to accumulate everything over a period of time, how to create money, how to get from one end to the other. And it was very interesting. But anyway, long story short, it was this huge journey. And she said, even in there, in the thing, well, she felt that by him coming, it was going to be a tough journey. And they ended up being bikers, you know, by her going through the desert, telling her story, talking about the ways of God and to different people that she met. She ended up meeting, I think it was like 5 women, and they ended up going across the desert, I think maybe 5 times or something like that, before she was free to go back or leave. I'm like, wow, that's one visit I don't want. I don't want them to tell me where I gotta go.
That's amazing. Jeez. No, not 5 times. No.
It's interesting. Yeah, anyway.
And I think that the important is that we have a sign that we made forward when we are feeling that we have more love, because love is the key to the God kingdom, you know. And when we feel that we have more forgiveness, we can forgive our enemy. When we love everybody and we are ready to help everybody, they are the signs that we made forward and should grow up in us every day. Every day when we get up early in the morning, we love the day. We like the light. We appreciate and we are thankful for what we have. Even it's not enough, but we should be satisfied with that what we have. Thank you.
Mhm.
I have a question for you, Mohsen. How do you say Holy Spirit in your language?
That is the Ruh, Ravan. Ruh or Ravan. Ravan.
Beautiful. And how do you say
Yeah.
Kingdom of Heaven?
بارگاه خدا الهی.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
And we say that is that is unlimited. You know, we cannot say I want to go and reach somewhere, because there
Yes.
is not somewhere. We are everywhere is the
Is the
same. That is
kingdom.
like a circle. Yes,
Yes,
the
the kingdom
kingdom
is
has not
here.
no
Yes.
begin, no end. Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you
You're
very
welcome.
much. I agree. Love, 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 more love, love. That is the kingdom of heaven.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're
Beautiful.
welcome.
Okay, Mark.
Let us obey in turn, aware of our destination and convinced that the Lord is waiting for us beyond our cross on the resplendent peaks of eternal resurrection.
What does that mean to you?
Coming back. Our destination is continuing to progress, continuing to return for another opportunity eternally.
What does that mean to you, Val?
Well, with every new day, it is a resurrection of the sun and of life and a new opportunity. And I thought it was very interesting when I read about the Essene Jews, that they consider that we have one life and it's eternal. You die, you're reborn, you're resurrection, but it's all a continuation of the one life. But there needs to be a constant renewal. So I think that's kind of I'll piggyback on what Mark said and what Mohsen said. So how about you, Regina?
Well, it's a couple of things. It's what you guys are saying, as well as, you know, I was thinking about, well, if I was religious, I'm going to just die and go to heaven. And I'll just meet God, you know,
And be lazy.
on the other side. You know, I ain't got to go through what y'all got to go through.
Lucky you.
Yeah, right.
St.
There you go.
St. Peter is going to show you the red carpet.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
Yes, that,
But you know,
that is,
but from the books that we've been reading, you know, what are some of these books? What is it? In the Greater World, you know, all these spiritual books, we know it's a whole nother game going on in the spiritual world. And I think it's beautiful because as long as you have some level of understanding that when you're out of your body at night, that you can ask to be of service. You can ask to go study. You can ask to pray, or you can ask to be, for help and assistance to go to different places. And so what they have been teaching us is that we go and help and assist our other brothers and sisters who are in need. And this is where that familiarity stuff comes from that Teresa was talking about. When you are a friend, family friend to someone else, it's either they may need you, and you're not in that family this lifetime, but they may need you to help assist with someone else somewhere across the world. We never know where they are or who they are, but we are learning that they are very busy in the spirit world, very busy.
Mhm.
And just as active as we are here, they're twice as busy there. So there's a lot going on.
This is the question. Where is the destination, our destination?
Wholeness, enlightenment.
And
It's on the previous page.
Oh, yes.
yeah,
Obey our
Yeah.
destination and convinced. Yes.
That's the destination.
Yeah.
All these things that we have broken through.
that is what I think, that this destination are we ourselves. I am the destination. I should go in myself and know myself, and then I know, as Socrates said, myself, and I know God and know the truth. So like that, because we cannot know anybody else as ourselves. Then we go within ourselves and we find the truth in ourselves. Then we can find the truth, and the truth is there. That is, there is no destination to go far away. We should find in ourselves the truth. Thank you.
I agree with you. It is the journey within. Know thyself. Very
Yes.
much so. Yes, it's within, and you learn all things and know all things from your connection to your Father, to your God, to the light.
Yeah, the vanguard of new horizons of understanding goodness, spiritual illumination, and progress in virtues is open to you. So the virtues, we have to purify them. We have to be them. We have to be kindness, be charitable. We have to be forgiving. And we have to be active in practicing faith and learning faith so that we can get it down to where when we pray for someone, we know, that God is connected with, we're connecting with our Heavenly Father. We have to defeat our dark shadows. We have to defeat the negativity that goes on that we have been practicing and taking so much pleasure in. We have to just change everything about us. Breaking down barriers, piercing the fog.
Piercing the fogs, yes.
And that takes work.
Yep. Well, I think the more we practice, as you said, practice forgiveness, practice in the moment of taking a moment and thinking before we speak or before we act, and breathing, that it's an everyday practice to bring forward the goodness, our goodness.
Mhm.
But when you fight against the negativity, it puts up a barrier. But it could be that instead of fighting against it, we surrender in that moment and ask for help. When I've come up or things I want to overcome, if in that very moment I give it over to God, I seem to have more help than struggle,
Mhm.
Help me now, give me strength, give me courage, give me acceptance and peace. So yes, but the struggle is on to, for me, is to surrender. Not use my ego to battle things, but to surrender.
You know, I read something else too that was interesting today, in that Emmett Fox book.
Oh, I love Emmett Fox. I love him.
And he was talking about, whenever there is something that, there's a goal that you want, something, he did the prayer is the key. Prayer will help, always help.
Yes,
And he says, that if you don't give up, eventually you will see that the help is there. It's coming, to help you with whatever it is your goal is, And I know mine is to understand more about what we're reading and to understand more about the journey in which Jesus was his journey, because he did it for us to learn from. And so I'm trying to get it because he's so subtle. And,
yes,
and it's just like how when we were reading about the good news and his disciples had a lot of questions about how he how he was so calm about the behaviors of others around him and how they took him, and his silence, spoke volumes, and it was something else we were reading, and he said he actually didn't always respond right away. He took his time to respond. It was almost like he took a minute to meditate on what his next thought was going to be. But he didn't respond right away. And that's something that we have to learn, to be a little more patient and take a little bit more time and think things through.
yes, be less reactive.
Less reactive, but he's also, the prayer is what will help you get to the other side of wherever it is that you're going.
Yes, and I know that Emmett Fox often says you golden key it, meaning you give it up. You say what it is that you need and the outcome, and then you give it to God. And you don't try to mess with it. You just put out the highest ideal for the situation and let God handle it.
There was an example of a woman who, I think she had lost her job. Her house, she was getting ready to lose her house. She had no money, just all kinds of stuff was just coming at her.
Right.
And he said that she just took the Bible and just read it, just kept reading and reading. She did it for the whole day, for a week or something like that. And by the time, by the end of the week, everything had worked its way out.
Yes.
I'm like, whoa, now that's pretty darn awesome.
That is, and that's faith, and knowing the goodness will come if you pray for it and give it to the highest ideal, I think.
And that's basically what she did. She gave it up and just she left it alone. She just didn't go into effort with it or
trying to control it or manipulate it.
She didn't try to control it. She didn't go into anger.
Yeah.
She didn't make any phone calls. She didn't do anything. She left it alone.
She left it alone and asked God to handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you reading the Sermon on the Mount? The Emmett Fox Sermon on the Mount?
I am.
Isn't that, it's lovely, isn't it? Make you feel amazing.
Yeah, I like this book.
I do too.
I'm almost done with it, but it's taken me a long time to get to it here and there.
I'm in agreement with you. It's one of those books I keep reading and reading.
I like it a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Sina,
yes.
I'm sorry, I have to go at 7:30.
Okay, hon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, my son.
I
See you.
apologize.
Good night, Mohsen.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Nice to see you. Nice to speak with
Nice
you.
to see you too. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So anybody else have anything they want to say about this topic? Mark,
I'm good.
you good? I'm good too. So, well, I don't have anything more to say, so.
It's a very nice discussion. I'm
What's-
glad I got in on it.
Yeah, I'm glad you did too.
Good
Oh, my
stuff.
goodness.
Because it always helps to hear a different person's view, you know?
Yes, yes.
I like that. I like to hear what others have to say. Who left? Was that Mohsen that left?
Yeah.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes. Might have been me too. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm at Sonia's.
No, you've been very clear.
I don't know what I'm doing. I need an education.
Well, we can see you.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so would somebody like to do the closing prayer? I did the opening.
I'll be glad to.
Thanks.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to continue our education and our slow steps of progress. We thank the spirits who were here tonight, guiding this group and us individually, and those spirits that were here to learn beside us. God, we ask for patience as we ponder all the words exchanged tonight, all the sentiments and energies that are now part of us. And we thank you for this continued opportunity on this amazing planet with this amazing humanity and nature that you have created. And with deepest gratitude and humility, we ask permission to close tonight's session. And so be it.
And so it is.
And so be it.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Regina. Thank you. Thank you, Mark.
Good night. Take care.